Hizamuze! Hop on the beat!
Welcome back to another installment of JoJo Fun Facts, where I go over any and all obscure or interesting JoJo trivia. It's been a while since the last one of these, so I've had a lot of time to put together another interesting list. I'm really excited to talk about some of the stuff, so let's get right into it. You may remember the original JoJo world from way back in Fun Fact 7. Well, in 2025, a new permanent installment of the JoJo World series of pop-ups was established in the Shibuya Parko Mall. Since it's a permanent shop rather than a temporary pop-up, it has more products than ever. While there are too many to list in this video, my personal favourite items are the Sex Pistols headband and Master Sword replica. In addition to sold products, it hosts a few activities, like the famous Memeta Ripple Roulette, which is based on a scene of Zeppeli punching a frog to demonstrate the power of the ripple. This minigame in particular is well known since it's actually a returning game from the original JoJo world back in 2021. It involves you punching a plush replica of the frog, which rewards you with a random prize including multi-cloths, acrylic boards, and holographic badges. Next is a bit of JoJo trivia I bet you didn't know about. It's largely not mentioned outside of official documentation, but Araki's full name is Toshiyuki Tenmei Araki. His middle name, Tenmei, is actually the inspiration behind the Stardust Crusaders character Tenmei Kakyoin. Many of you may think Kakyoin's first name is Noriaki, as this is how it is usually translated, but that is actually wrong. When we see his name anglicized in his signature during the Justice arc, we can see that it should be read as Tenmei. You may have heard explanations for Josuke Higashikata and even Shizuka Joestar having JoJo in their name, even though it is not usually translated in a way that makes it obvious. In those examples, Suke can be read as Jo, and Shizuka can also be read as Jo. This means that their names can be read as Jojo Higashikata and Jo Joestar. However, did you know that this actually extends beyond just these two? Matter of fact, every single JoJo's name can be read as just JoJo, without needing to put together part of the name. For example, the lettering for Nathan can be read as Jo, so Jonathan Joestar is actually Jojo Joestar. Similarly, Taro can be read as Jo, so Jotaro Joestar is actually Jojo Joestar. The Let's Go Hunting arc in Diamond is Unbreakable is actually based on a childhood memory in Araki's life. A rat king is a collection of rats that are somehow joined together by the tail, including by an adhesive substance like sap, or by intentional tying. Araki's art has been praised globally, famously including his artwork being displayed in the Louvre. Now the reason for this is actually unknown to most people, since they assume that it's just because of decades of practice as with many other artists. However, that is actually wrong. The real reason for both his artistic and storytelling skills is Araki's demonic pact with Hermaeus Mora, Daedric Prince of Forbidden Knowledge on the 5th of the First Seed, First Era. When he was a child, he uncovered epistolary acumen, one of Mora's black books. Upon reading this, he was transported mentally to Mora's realm, the Apocrypha, where he communed with him to gain access to an infinite wealth of skill and knowledge. Common source for background radiation is radon gas. This is a colourless, odourless, noble gas, and actually the most common source of background radiation, making up about half of the background radiation detected. It seeps from the ground as a result of uranium-238 decay over billions of years, which produces radium-226, which then decays into radon-222. In open air, radon-222 diffuses to a low concentration, making it safe to live around, however it may be confined into a high concentration within homes. This can lead to health risks due to the alpha radiation that comes from radon's decay, including ionization of DNA in the lungs and ultimately lung cancer, which it ranks as the second most common cause for. People believe that Jotaro's ability to stop time was hastily made up as Dio was undefeatable otherwise. However, that is not actually true. Star Platinum and the World were actually created together, being the first two stands. Their ability to both stop time was probably present throughout the whole part. And that's a brief fun fact for now. I said it before, but these fun fact videos are actually some of my favourites to make. While these started off as a way to include a series of smaller topics that aren't enough for their own videos, it's actually branched out a bit, and some of these topics are pretty big. So much so that I may actually be taking a look at these soon, since some of these definitely deserve their own video, like the history of the JoJo worlds or the themed foods. If there's a topic you'd like to see me go over, whether it's in the Fun Fact series or a standalone video, comment it down below. If you want to keep up with future videos, make sure to subscribe and click the bell. You can also join the LARP on Beat Discord to be notified about new videos and any important JoJo news. Finally, I'd appreciate if you support the channel on Patreon. There you receive Discord perks and you can submit Patron questions. This question comes from Just Another Nerd. Do you actually like JoJo's or are you just LARPing? I've come across this question a few times and I've actually decided to formally veto it forever. If you want to submit a question, you can join the Patreon at any tier, and send them over DMs or in the community chat. Thank you for watching. This is the part of the video where I LARP having $5 and up patrons next to this picture of Araki. Thank you to Norbit the Lich, Rot Dog, Ocean Man, Gobby Tinks, Dark Blue Moon, Vela, George Washington, Jester of Fruit, LARPsmith, and Highway Star.